see if we can do this. Okay. This is a mess, but we don't care because we were just having dinner. And we've been trying to understand while drinking cider. Why? I mean, seriously, we've been trying to make. I don't even know if we're gonna post that, but just like for us, we've been trying to like post this fucking video and talking about like how to post a video, why we don't post the video, why we don't share, why not. And you just like, it's this insight, like we are trying to fulfill someone else's expectation of who we should be.
Yeah. And we've been taught that we're all here to fulfill other people's fantasies, or like, you know, particularly like when people talk about like, oh, I manifested you, or you you know, like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're all dreaming together, but at the same time, to get caught in that story, then there's expectations like, oh, if you manifested me, I have to like become this thing or be this thing, as opposed to just like be me.
Yeah, but you're talking to like another level of like you're talking about like in terms of like relationship, and because you are this beautiful figure, and then it projects a lot of people's desires already because you already correspond to that somehow. But what we've been taught to as we grow up is to correspond to someone else's expectations.
Yeah, but like in any way,
like for our parents, for like this mental image that like society projects, like this is how you should look like, this is the body that you should have, like to be successful you should have this and this and that. Actually, this is a really basic realization that we are having right now about our own fears of, not even fears, but like blockages in terms of just like expressing whatever we want to express. That is like this fear of not corresponding to people's expectations and fantasies of what they think about us.
Of not fulfilling someone else's projection.
Not fulfilling someone else's projection.
And I feel like a lot of the times I'm like aware of the image that someone is holding of me.
Yeah.
Right? And so like I feel like the pressure is to, if you don't maintain that image, is there going to be conflict?
Yeah.
Like, is there going to, like, what's going to happen?
You're going to be
a loss.
Are you going to be in trouble? Or you won't be lovable, right? You won't be accepted. Like if you express yourself authentically, then you will lose the affection, because we also learn that, you know, if you cry, if you get angry, or if you do anything that is not in the what is right, defined by, you know, a nice kid. Like if you're not behaving to that expectation, then you won't be loved, or you will be like rejected somehow, or like people will get angry with you, right? It's like, oh, people like my parents or the teachers, or like all the construct and people around us as we are growing up, if we don't correspond to what they expect, and when we behave in a weird way, right? If we are weird, like me when I suffered bullying. Like, I was weird, I dressed weird, and I was different, and then because of that, I was not accepted. So I tried to like dress like the girls, the popular girls.
How did you dress?
Oh, they wear like high heels in school and makeup, and I came from like this really weird school. Like, not really, it was an amazing school, but like with 11 years old, like I was playing football without t-shirt, like in the grass, and swimming in a waterfall in my other school. So like,
you were playing topless football?
What is this?
You were playing football without a shirt on?
Yeah, with 11 years old, because it was just kids. Like, it was really like an innocent school kind of context. And like, there were monkeys in the school, so like I was dressing.
That's awesome.
And we would like eat fruits from like tree fruits. So like, I'm gonna show you the pictures of the school. It's like insane. And then I go to this really like, it's a Catholic huge school with all the rich kids, with all the cool kids, and then I'm the weird kid, like with like red hair, the only girl with red hair probably in the school, and then like bullying because it was like really weird. And
But how did you dress weird?
I dressed kind of like I was not dressing feminine, you know, like it was just like I didn't care about what I was dressing. We just like put like some colorful things, and like it was just creative. And all the girls in school, they would wear like high heels and like the white shirt, cropped and sexy and whatever. So yes, it was just like I just learning that like, oh, when I'm weird, when I'm different, when I'm like if I'm not corresponding to what they expect, I'm not gonna be loved.
So how do you feel about how you dress now with what you just said to me?
Now I kind of like in between.
Okay.
You know, like I think I could be much more creative. You inspire me a lot.
But like, do you still feel like you're trying to like maintain a sexy image?
For sure, there's still a lot of like, yeah, probably a little bit. The sexy thing, there's like, yeah, like feminine, sexy. There's all this like desired kind of thing around how.
I feel like for me, sexy now, or like if I think about like what I would want to embody, they would be like the sexiest thing ever. I think less about like an adult quality that's tied to like sexual attraction, and more to like when you're a kid and you see someone like just stand up for something or have like super balls and just like sharing their truth or saying whatever, and you're like, fuck yeah, you know, like
that's
you're
the
like,
sexist.
fuck yeah,
that's
you
the
know,
sexist thing.
right?
Yeah, because they don't fucking care.
But what else is sexy? Everything else that we've been told is sexy is a stories and image.
Oh
like,
my god.
like
so
having
true.
balls, like that's really the only, like when you talk about like sexual energy, like what's attractive, it's like the strong, like I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna do this. Like that's what's sexy.
So true. Oh my
That's
god.
what's truly attractive.
Oh
like
my
you want to talk
God.
about the law of attraction and the power of attraction and giving ourselves permission to speak our truth. Like what is more attractive than that? Truly, like what is more magnetic than that? From like a pure innocent standpoint. And all you have to do is like think about when you're a kid, and we've all had those situations where it's like, God, you just wish one fucking kid would say one thing to this adult that just is like on a tirade, and finally you have an experience where like you watch one kid be like no,
Yeah.
or like say something or like stand up or whatever, and you're like, fuck.
But even
yeah.
but even now, even today, like we feel attracted to people who are sharing their voice and their vision and whatever they think, and they don't give a fuck about what others. You know, like when it comes from when you see that they're not trying to impress. Like when you truly see someone expressing their voice in a really authentic way, there's nothing more sexy than that, right? It's like because it's really like this is who I am and this is what I think, and this is sexy. You're just like that's so fucking real. And the rest, like the dressing with like you know like with whatever like the notions of a sexy aesthetic, it's all made up by like fashion and like stories, and wow, that's really liberating. Like this is liberating, the truth. for real. This is why I mean now the more I think the more we become aware of those things, less sexy I think that like when I see a woman wearing like this huge high heel and like a lot of makeup and like I mean although you can have you know, if you talk about transgender community, then you can have like a huge like argument around aesthetic and what is sexy and what is liberation.
I mean, you can. I've had like that conversation with a couple of people that identify as trans for me, and I've always wondered, because I've always felt very fluid, like gender-wise. I dressed up like as a girl a lot when I was a kid and like played with that. But like I was allowed to play with it enough where I didn't feel like so constricted, and so like I feel like I haven't had to go to like an extreme, like either to pick like I'm gonna like be completely false, be like super butch, which I actually did for like a little while. But like to me, to go to the opposite pole and like to like change my sex or like look like a woman, like who is that for?
Yeah.
Like whose love do I need if I'm doing that, right?
Yeah,
Because if like my experience has been that like yeah, there were like straight guys that I knew were attracted to me, and if I probably looked more like a woman, maybe then they'd give it a shot, or maybe like it would be enough for them to like feel comfortable enough. But is it my job to shift my physical appearance to make someone else more comfortable on their journey? No.
No, of course.
It's not.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And so like I wonder if how big of an impact like that plays.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I feel like there's one thing about like expressing yourself, but to at least for me to like go to the opposite extreme to match an image that like I know could be like considered sexy that I could use to like get what I want if I'm not feeling loved or lovable.
Isn't it crazy? It's so crazy now.
But like, is that really the answer?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. And if like all of the people that identify like on any spectrum of sexuality or gender were just allowed to express their whole lives, like whatever that meant, you know what I mean? Like, because maybe like when something wanted to be expressed originally, it was more innocent, and then when it gets repressed, it's like, okay, I have to go to the other extreme to be like accepted or like whatever.
Yeah, for sure, yeah, with this, and oh my god, but just like the trying to be sexy, it's so not sexy. It's like zero sexy. Oh my god, this is insane. Yeah, okay. That's a huge one, and I think that's like a huge like healing. I mean, if we were talking about why did we started the video? What was the first insight?
I don't know. It's on there.
This is one that like truly like being sexy in terms of like sexy is like sexual attraction, like being magnetic. It is about like being powerful, like having balls, like being like
it's authenticity,
like just expressing and just like not giving a fuck and not trying to be something that you're not. This is fucking sexy. Not trying to dress in a way that will attract, not just like I don't care, I'm dressing like this and whatever. And this is one, but I think we were talking about, what were we talking about in the beginning? About parents, about trying. I think we started talking about that. I think if I look at the video, it was like, probably was there. But it was really, you thought about the game that we could play. Remember?
Like the first video about the getting arrested or whatever?
No, after. Right now you said like, oh, I have an idea about how we can make the video if we acknowledge that.
That we're not here to fulfill someone else's fantasy.
Yes, and it's both are really related.
And so if we're not here to fulfill anyone else's fantasy, then there can be no attachment to opinion.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, if you don't believe that you're here to fulfill the fantasy of like the 3 people that leave you nasty comments, then it's going to have no bearing on your experience.
Exactly.
Like, when did you ever plan to be here to fulfill the needs of those people, you know? Like, their fantasies of like what a random person is supposed to be like on you.
Not even, you know, like when you think about sharing something, it's so interesting because I think like, okay, I'm gonna share, and then like there are some people that pop in my mind of like, oh, this girl will judge me, oh, this guy will think I'm stupid, and it's when I think about those people, they don't even matter in my life. Like, I don't care about them. Like, they are not my friends. They are not in my social circle. They're kind of like near my social circle, but like, And then I'm like, what? Why am I having these thoughts? Like, I don't really care about these people. But then I'm like, oh, but this girl, she's so cool. Like, she will think that what you're doing is stupid. Or, oh, this other girl, she's like she's like a really beautiful model, and she dates this guy that is super blah, blah, and they follow me, and she will think that I'm trying, and then I have this little thoughts, and I'm like, wow, this is so fascinating that like these two human beings that don't matter in my life are the ones, and then I will have like one or two friends from like college or that don't really get me now. They're like, wow, they will think that I'm crazy. Like, they would never imagine that I would be sharing my voice like this or sharing what I think. But none of them
But
matter.
that's funny. Like, I never thought, because I'm sure, like, that there are people who think that I'm crazy too, but it's like, I never thought that I was gonna be able to have that experience, right? That, like, I would have so many adventures and experiences in my life that I would have friends that thought I was crazy
Yeah.
because of,
Yeah.
what a blessing.
What a blessing. No, completely. And I'm like, but that's the thing, I don't even identify with these people. But it's just like some sort of like, I don't know where the fear comes from, or like the fear of being judged by this specific people that I don't really care about.
I feel like I just realized, and like it was what I was saying before, that like to let go of like all of my fears of judgment or putting anything else out. Like, I know that like when I'm alone and nobody's watching me, or like I will do whatever it takes to show people that they're loved and that nothing's wrong with them, or like to help,
Mm-hmm.
It's like like when I was at Anna, I came into like the office and like somebody had like, it was late and like it was so poorly organized and somebody had like clogged and overflowed the toilet, and it's like I'm like, there's no one else around. Like, if I don't do it, it's just gonna get like worse and worse and worse, And it's like nobody knows that I did that,
Yeah.
But it's like those are the little things that like if I didn't do that, how many people would have come in there and then had to go find somewhere else, and then like we'll be looking for people, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
So
this
it's
is
like,
what truly matters in the end.
yeah, and so it's like, okay, like that's what I know that I'm at. So it's like whatever I judge myself for, whatever I think I'm fucking up, like at the end of the day, if I really like zoom out and look at the bird's eye view of like the true actions that like
True
matter,
actions,
like
completely.
It's every time I choose yes.
Yes, yeah.
Every time. And if that's not enough, I don't know what is.
Of course. Oh my god, 100%. Like, the fucking video or the fucking art or whatever we feel that, oh, should I share this with the world or not? Like, yes, it's important, because if you're creating something or if you have something to say about anything, like, we should say it. We shouldn't be afraid of saying it. But what truly matters is what we are doing behind the camera or the art gallery or as human beings.
Because it's real.
It's like real, I mean,
it's all real,
but yeah.
But there are people that make speeches and then don't.
Yeah, exactly. Because what is important is like walking the talk, and then the moment that I realize like, wow, like when I'm not in the camera, it's like I'm doing so many amazing things when I'm not like online. Like, I'm actually the most amazing things that we do, like, we are not sharing with anyone. We are just like experiencing like so many amazing things and working in amazing projects and like helping people, like, and like working on ourselves, and like we don't share about this at all. Like, sometimes you go and share something, and this is what matters. And I mean, and I think this should empower us to just like, yes, I'm gonna just share this, if this can. And that's the thing, like, I think the sharing, when it comes from the heart, and I think there's two things. It's like honoring our inner child that wants to say like, look what I've made, that it's like, it's our nature. I think when we create something and we love it, or it comes from like, it's this impulse that kids, they have it, they are proud of what they did, and they want to share it just because it's like, I did it, I created it, it's so fun, it's amazing. And then we lose that because we start judging ourselves. Oh, this is like not as good as what this other kid did, like, oh, I'm not good enough, like blah blah blah, and all this, everything that happens. And then the other part is about like, maybe it's not, maybe it can be something beautiful you made, but maybe it can be like an insight that you learn, or a tool, or something that you're like, oh my god, if I share this, I can help other people, like a solution that you find for yourself, and you're like, wow, if I want to help other people. It's like, and it all comes from this nature of human beings of sharing, that we stop ourselves from sharing because we are afraid of all those, I'm not going to fulfill this image that this person, the projection that this person, I'm not going to fulfill this, I'm not going to fulfill that. So there are several elements that they are freeing ourselves. Okay, so actually now we have like a toolkit that can always, like, if we write this somewhere, like it's almost like we are creating a tool. We can create actually a game with all of these topics. Like one is the we are not here to fulfill other people's projections of who we should be.
Right.
Right? We are not here to fulfill.
Or other people's fantasies of us. I feel like that may be clear for some people. Then people are like, what's a projection?
Yeah. Fantasies, desires, expectations.
If you think about it though, like, I would say like most relationships that people find them in, the other person has a fantastical idea of what they are, should be, or could be.
Mm-hmm.
Like including parents.
Oh yeah.
That want a mini version of themselves. That's a fantasy.
Completely. Yes.
It's like a sociopathic fantasy.
Okay, so that's one. Second is we have 4, I think. Okay. Second is that sexy, right? And if we are worrying about attracting people, if we always have this little human concern of, am I sexy, am I lovable? Like, what is truly sexy is authenticity, like raw.
Yeah, and why most people like don't get the law of attraction or aren't attracting what they want is because they're hiding everything they truly want because they've been taught to like have guilt or shame around it. So then if you're hiding it, there's no way you can connect with the community of people that would love you for exactly who you are. So you can't like attract it,
Zina, I think we have to make a video together about all those things.
We are right now.
Yeah, but do you think that this will be the one? Do you think that this will be the one that we'll post online?
Sure, why not?
Why not? Wow, this is like epic. Okay. So hi. Okay. So sexy, attracting, and yes, law of attraction. It's like, oh my god, this is a lot. Okay. So when we hide who we truly are, we end up not attracting anything that we truly want.
Yeah.
Basic.
Because it's like let's say your heart's a magnet.
Yeah.
And if you're hiding, you're basically putting the magnet in a lead box. So, other complementary magnets aren't feeling it,
Yeah. Oh my god, this is like, okay. And then the third one is about the nature of sharing to help others, right? Like if we have like something that we feel that it helped us, or it's a tool, or it's whatever, like it's human nature to want. This is like actually like cell organization nature. It's like cells, they heal themselves first, and then they start helping. Like if an organ, if you have like something, sickness in your body, the cell regenerates itself, and then it helps the other group of cells. Like it's really fascinating. So we, as human beings, we kind of like share this similar behavior. Okay, I learned how to heal that. Now I'm gonna share, I learned this juice that heals whatever, or this meditation, or this and that, and we start like discovering things and tools that work for us, and then we want to share with the world. So it would be our nature in terms of like evolution and new organizations, and like just expanding and growing, to share. So sharing is caring. Basic. And then the fourth would be the inner child, honoring the inner child.
In what way?
In a way that the inner child wants to express itself to the world with any reason, just because it likes to dance, it likes to sing, it likes to paint, it likes to draw, and like, look what I did, is this thing, is this nature, like, look what I create, this is who I am, I don't fucking care. And they're just happy doing it. It's because of the process of being, It's not, it doesn't have any goal. And this is why a lot of kids are obsessed with iPhones right now, because they love to share who they are. A lot of like little kids, 5 years old, they are like making videos and like posting, which is like a dangerous tool. But working with kids for 8 years now, and seeing the younger kids, the 5-year-old kids, it's like they are obsessed about sharing who they are.
5-year-olds?
Yeah, like, well, look what I did, look what I paint, and dancing, and like, they want to speak. Like, oh my god, if you ask like 5-year-olds, like, I did this test like in many events, like I put like a white painting, like, and then I have like kids and adults, and then I'm like, okay kids, like, so who wants to participate in this thing? And then like all of them want to participate. Like I have, they make a line, and then when okay, so now adults who want to participate, and no one was like, shit, like, don't call me, I don't want to go on the stage and like do whatever. And the kids, they want, because they just want to play. So it's just like honoring the inner child is just playing and having
fun. I was just thinking about honoring my inner child that always liked to challenge everything and fuck shit up.
Yeah.
But in a very subtle, funny way.
But that's what you're gonna do with the new idea.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
just fun.
Yeah, and it is. And my inner child loved to like dance, sing, paint, draw. I was like, I did all sorts of creative things, like theater, like everything I did. And I just loved like all the presentations, like ballet presentations, piano concerts, and like I loved to present. I remember it was my favorite thing. It's like in the end of the year, I would have like a painting presentation for everyone, and I would be so happy. Or the ballet final presentation and competition that we would travel like Brazil to, like, and I would love to like go on the stage and present. Theater, like I would love the stage and present what we've been working on and just show it. And now it's my blockage. It's like, oh no, I don't want to share, it's not good enough.
Oh my god, same. I used to perform, I used to sing on the street corner, and like, or I would be on the subway, and I would like, just like all the time. And I still actually have no idea like what changed that. And I don't like feel the need to like investigate it, but I have no idea what shifted that.
Yeah, like then, but like maybe it is this. It's so like now we know these are kind of like what can liberate us from like it will. This is like sharing our creative expression, sharing who we truly are will empower us.
What's like the opposite of giving up on yourself?
Oh yeah,
Like,
my
what's
God.
the opposite? Because I actually, like, now that I'm thinking about that, I feel like there was a moment when I transferred to fashion school when, like, I was really, like, doing what I wanted, and then I did that not because I wanted to, and then ever since then, I felt like I had been in a pattern, not completely, and not in, like, the last 4 years, but I was in a pattern of, like, doing things for other people that I didn't want to do. Like making choices to like fulfill other people's fantasies of like what I could be in their story of their head. Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. I think this is what it's fucking is. It's like
because people want love, so it's like,
yeah.
oh, this person will love me if I fulfill this fantasy that's in their head of the role that I play in their story.
Exactly.
As opposed to writing my own story and like they can do whatever the fuck they want with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I'm not writing their story.
Completely. But it comes since the beginning and it's everywhere. It's like from our parents. Like, is this like, don't do this, don't do that, no. It's already this like, okay, to be loved, I can't be myself, right? Don't cry, don't do this, no. You're gonna be in trouble if you do what you want. You're gonna be in trouble if you express what you feel. So like, it starts from there. It's like, oh my God, I get in trouble every time that I fully express myself. It's like, shit, so I can't. So I'm gonna not fully express myself, because every time that I fully express myself, that I do what I truly want to do, you know, like if it's like whatever, playing, it's like it's not time for playing now. It's like, or you want to talk, like you're in the, you know, in the school, in the classroom, like kids, they want to talk, they want to play, and like if they speak, they get out of the class, right? Like if you're speaking in the wrong time, it's not the time to speak, or it's not the time to play. It's like, so it's like you're always in trouble for just like, it's like it's like they want to express, they want to play. Like, no, you can't. And you're just like, so you're trained. We are literally trained to not express ourselves.
Yeah.
And then after that we have the school. Then we have parents. Parents like being mad with us because we are not because we are crying, or because we are not behaving the way they want us to behave. Then we have the school also punishing us for just because we want to, like, kids want to like run and be playful, and like, no, you can't. It's like, no, so you're not going to be playful. You just can't express your nature.
You just can't.
You just can't. And then the third layer will be the society projection from media, from film. Like, ooh, to be successful, you need to look like this. To be good, you need to do this. To be this or that. And then, like, it's all those, like, images of, like, oh my God, like, who I am right now is not good enough. Like, I need to be this other things. So I think we are trained since the beginning to, like, you can't be who you truly are.
And I don't even know anymore if like there's like an evil collective really trying to propagate this, or if people have if it's just gotten out of control and like become like a cycle that is not intentional.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's another thing we could figure out. Like, let's figure out if this is really intentional. If companies are really doing this, like, fucking stop. Like, grow up. Yeah. Like, stop selling people shit with guilt and shame. Like, really?
But I mean, like, for example, Victoria's Secrets. It's like, they are aware that they are causing, like, bulimia, anorexia, and, like, depression and all sorts of, like, image and eating disorders in girls. They are aware of it, but they are still putting the image of like the really, really skinny, perfect model. And then, I mean, I think it's starting to get ridiculous now. I think people are starting to, I'm not sure, but when I used to watch a Victoria's Secret show, and then I'll be like, wow, oh my God, you're so sexy. And now I'm like people stop and they put so much money in a show of like naked like women just like running around with like some jewelry and like lingerie, and like, what the fuck, people are dying, like, and you're just like putting so much money in projecting this like ideal model of what a woman should be, and the makeup and the hair that is so like basic, you know, and it's still there, and they're making a lot of money, and it's still like, so I think that yes, it's on purpose. Because how can you make money? We talk about that. Like if companies don't create this feeling that we are not good enough, we will stop buying stuff.
Well, then, like, we should all get together and say, like, we don't want to see this shit.
Yeah.
Like, we want you to take all that money and fucking do something real.
Yeah.
Like, no one needs another Victoria's Secret runway show.
Yeah.
Right?
At all.
Like, take that $100 million and fucking do something real.
Build a fucking school. Oh my god, seriously. Like, so.
Or, like, pay for like 5,000 women that have toxic breast implants to get them removed.
Yes, I'm gonna be on the line.
Have you had problems?
No, toxic. No, but like I clearly have. It was I would look myself in the mirror and say like, oh, I don't have enough boobs. You know, like I don't look like them. Like I want to be sexy. Like, and I love them, but like for sure, it's fucked up. You looking yourself in the mirror as you are, and you feeling that you need to put like a plastic inside of you to like look sexy. But some people will tell that like, you know, for plastic surgery and painting your hair and whatever you do is just like the freedom of shaping your body as you want. With technology and with...
I mean, I agree with that, but it's also, I think, almost impossible for most people to remove themselves from the image programming to really decide how they want to express themselves, like, freely,
exactly,
without based on any societal images. Like, that's really hard.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's not that, like, I want it. Like, my boobs were really cute, which I was like, they were perfect, you know. It's just like it needed to be a little bit bigger because it's not quite like the image that I'm seeing on Vogue magazine or on like, you know. So for sure, it's like it's a lie. I'm buying a fucking lie, and we are all. I mean, not all of us, but like most of us. And I think we kind of mapped the problem. And some sort of solutions. Maybe we can create a game for each of them.
The What's Actually Sexy game.
Yeah, okay. Maybe should I stop the video now so we can like...
Take off your clothes and say something real.
Naked.
That's funny. I mean, I really do feel like... I mean, you can stop it, but...
And just so we can...
Like, when we're talking about, like, being everything...